Are you interested in attending Special Forces assessment and selection? Are you prepared to go? Have you done everything that you can that's within your power to ensure that you're able to attend, crush, and get selected? If there's any hint of hesitation there, guys, more than likely the answer is no. With that in mind, I want to give you another tool that you can gravitate towards that's going to help you get that much more prepared. If you haven't done so already, guys, check out the description box below. Go to the Patreon. There you'll have access to a variety of prep courses that I've put together geared towards helping you attend and crush Special Forces in selection. Once you get signed up, you'll get access to the Discord where at any given times, there's 90 other dudes on there that's currently going through the Special Forces journey. Some of them are currently at airborne school. Others have just graduated basic and AIT. Others have been a selection. Some have gotten selected. Some haven't. But it's a community that I'm trying to build to give you guys an outlet so you could communicate with guys that are currently going through the same process. And on top of that, guys, you'll get access to me at any given times for any question that you might have. So if you have any doubt, guys, on whether or not you are ready to attend, I encourage you to check out the Patreon, all right? It's going to cost you $19 to either live a life of fulfillment or a life of regret. Fulfillment in knowing that you paid the $19 to go get the information that's going to give you the edge over the next dude to attend and crush selection. Regret in knowing that you didn't spend that $19 to give yourself an edge. Now you attended and failed selection. It's $19. If you don't like what you see at the Patreon, you can always cancel your subscription, guys. The intent here, guys, is to help you prep so you could attend and crush selection. So if you haven't done so already, go over to the Patreon. I'll see you there. As Special Forces operators, we are tasked with conducting a variety of different missions. Unconventional warfare, FID, JSET, direct action, special reconnaissance, just to name a few. Over the span of my 20 plus years, I've spent approximately 68 months in combat. Throughout those deployments, there's been some highs and there's been some lows. But today, guys, I wanted to come on here and speak to you guys about the most challenging Special Forces mission that I've ever had to conduct. Now, let me warn you, the mission that you're probably thinking, it's probably not the one that was the most difficult for me. Now, keep in mind, this is my perspective from what I had to endure in the missions that I've been on. So for me, it first started back in 2010, guys, my first Special Forces deployment. On that deployment, we were heavy in the counterinsurgency realm. We were doing what's called VSO, Village Stability Operations. That's when they would take a team of Special Forces ODA and they would put them behind enemy lines, living with the actual villagers. So just imagine, right now I'm around the Fort Bragg area. So they take a group of Special Forces guys and they take us and they drop us in Fayetteville. And they let us run that entire town. We have to mingle with the locals, build those relationships, recruit a fighting force, train that fighting force, and then go operational with that fighting force. That was the strategy that was employed back in 2010 when General Petraeus was running the Afghan theater. Now that mission was all right. It sucked, but as a newly graduate of the Special Forces Q course, that type of mission was expected. I just got out of Robin Sage, which is a big unconventional warfare exercise. So rolling right into Village Stability Operation, which in its own right is somewhat related to unconventional warfare, was perfect. Now, fast forward to 2012. I had a chance to work with commandos. So now I'm going from a unconventional warfare type of scenario to a direct action type of scenario, right? To where I'm training with approximately 150 commandos. And now we're taking them on operations. We're clearing villages. We're conducting 24-hour operations. So we're doing 1 on, 2 off. We would go out with a company's worth of commandos, conduct an operation, come back, recover, plan, and then execute the next mission about 2 days later. That was fun, right? Because we were literally doing the fun part of being a special forces guy. We were kicking indoors, we were clearing villages, we were shooting bad dudes. It was awesome. That deployment was approximately 8 months for me, right? Now, awesome deployment, met a bunch of awesome dudes in Afghanistan. But when that came to an end, guys, we redeployed, right? Did train up again. Then in 2014, I went back to Afghanistan, different district, and I ran commandos again. So that was, again, I was familiar with what I was doing, so that deployment wasn't too hard. It was awesome. We had a great time, killed a shit ton of bad dudes, and then came back, and then I went over to SWIC. Now, those first 3 missions that I spoke about, unconventional warfare and indirect action, again, those type of operations were expected. Where at war, I've been training for this my entire freaking career to go downrange and do it. That was fulfilling. That wasn't hard. It wasn't a hard mission at all. Because as a special forces guy, I'm expected to perform in those specific roles. Now I go to SWIC, take a knee, did the instructor job, awesome time, no problem there. Right? Now go back to group, guys, and I had a chance to deploy to Jordan for approximately 7 months with my ODA. Now at this point, I'm in charge of my own team, coach, teach, mentor. What I love to do, I'm doing that to my dudes. We prep and we deploy to Jordan. So we go down there, link up with the Jordanian Special Forces guys. We had a group of dudes that we were working with. We're training them. We're helping them out with their processes, making them better and more elite Special Forces operator. Now that deployment itself was one of the good ones, guys. I had a chance to bond with my dudes. I had a chance to develop soldiers from other countries, unlike Afghanistan where we would just, train them and then go operational with them. I actually had a chance to work with the Jordanian guys on a strategic level. Awesome deployment, right? So those were my deployment, guys. And of course, I had a 3-month stay over Tajikistan in a JSET type of scenario. So those are the type of SF missions that I've been on throughout my career, all right? So there's still a bunch of missions that I hadn't had a chance to do. Because again, in Special Forces, there's a variety of missions. I think it's all the way up to 9 missions that we currently are conducting. But so which one was the hardest for me, guys? So now, like I mentioned, the previous 3 were expected. Unconventional warfare, direct action. Like, you're expecting to go out and shoot folks in the face, right? And have fun doing it. So those missions weren't hard for me because I was in a very controlled environment. We go outside the wire, we do work, we come back, we hang out, we recover, we do it again. Rinse and repeat. But for some reasons, even though we were losing dudes left and right, I guess for me, I knew it was, part of the job, right? It came with the territory. At that point, it's do your best to make the other guy die for his country and not the other way around. So those deployments weren't hard for me at all. My hardest deployment, believe it or not, was my last deployment to Jordan. Why was that? Now, keep in mind, when you're a regular dude on a team, just having a good time doing whatever you're told, focusing on your little area within your MOS, things are different. As opposed to being in charge of an entire team, now you're worried about everyone, what they're doing, how they're doing it, on top of what the command wants, what they're seeing, and how they want you to perform certain tasks. Completely different scope. Completely different from being just a regular dude, right? Now add to that equation, you're deploying to a permissive area. Now, if we were going to Afghanistan or Iraq where things were a little bit more controlled, all I have to worry about is making sure my dudes are ready for the fight that they have to take to the enemy outside the wire, conduct themselves appropriately, do work, move, shoot, communicate, medicate, and then bring them back to the wire where it's controlled. Guys can't really get in trouble, all right? And then we go from there. That would have been an easy deployment. But being in a permissive country like Jordan or Tajikistan or Israel, that adds another element to it, to where not only are you focusing on doing your job, but now you're also focusing on the dudes and then going out into town, grabbing a couple of beers, mingling with the locals, getting in trouble, DUIs, and that just adds a completely different element to the job. And for whatever reason, guys, again, my personal opinion, that for me was the hardest SF mission, is being able to take a group of dudes to a permissive country and not treat them like babies and not treat them like children. Let them do their jobs and then give them enough rope to basically hang themselves, right? Let them go out in the town, grab a couple of beers, be grown-ups, and not get in trouble. Now, mind you, we did it successfully, but not all teams are created equal. Not all teams can say that they had a successful J-set or a successful FID rotation, right? I can think of several different instances where guys went to these places and they end up getting, kicked out of country to where they can't ever return to that certain country. And for me, that was a fear of mine. It was like, man, I got, freaking 11 freaking pit bulls, 11 monsters, 11 meat eaters, and now I got to take them to X country and not treat them like freaking children. I got to let them loose until they step on their crank. And then that might lead to us getting kicked out of country. That might lead to these guys freaking losing their careers, right? So that was an eye-opener for me, guys. We figured out how to do it. I had a bunch of mature dudes, and at the end of the day, we were successful in our rotation. But that was my hardest mission, guys. Eager to hear what you guys' feedback is as far as a Special Forces guy, what your hardest mission was, all right? Leave it in the comment section below, guys. I appreciate y'all, and then I'll see you guys in the next one.